Hello and welcome back to Boring Dad Gaming, where today we're going to be playing some more Citizen Sleeper 2. It's actually been a little while since I played. I've been recording some other stuff like TCG Card Shop Simulator and finishing off Anachronox, so I can't exactly remember where we left things off, and there may be a little bit of inconsistency in the accents, but I think... we've got broken dice. We're going to need to fix that, but I don't think we can do it here. I think we need to get off this station, don't we? So... I was going to maybe have a go at processing that scrap, wasn't I? So sell raw scrap. So if I do that, how much do I get? 16 cryo. How much have I actually got total now? I got 118. So actually, that's not too bad. I mean, that was kind of why I got the scrap anyway in our last contract. So I could do that. I don't want to do a work shift right now. I think we should go and see what Junie wants. We're going to try and... I don't know if it's steal or kind of trick casting into giving us what we want. I can't quite remember. But let's go see Junie. Okay. Hack security. Junie needs help to create a backdoor into casting security systems so she can deactivate them when the time's right. Okay, so I'm okay with interface. Observe target, I'm bad at that. So I think this is probably our best chance. So let's put that in. Neutral, so we only got one. Now, my other dice are not particularly good. So I'll take a chance on the 3. It's negative. Well, we lost energy, so we didn't break a die or anything. It's not too bad. This is pretty bad though, so we're gonna cut. I don't want to do that. So how do I? Can I only do my skill on the die when we're on a contract? Maybe you have to be. Maybe to push, I need to have a die entered in something. Yeah, I got pretty... We can have a look at the contract board. I don't think there's anything there now. Yeah. I think we don't have long left. We're kind of gearing up to go, aren't we? I'm bad at that. I feel like I should try and use the die in something. We can fill up on fuel, because we're going to want to... Well... Let's buy... We've only got one. I'm going to buy a supply. And I think I might fill up on fuel. 15's not too bad. So at least when we want to leave, we're going to be able to get somewhere. Now I do have engineer here. The scrapyard shift. Maybe I could just at least try and use the die somewhat productively. Negative. Oh, well, it was only energy lost. Which isn't amazing, and it wasn't very much money. And is that going to be rubbish as well? That's going to be pretty rubbish. Hopefully at some point we get a way to actually use our small die. In the first game there were like sort of hacking things you could do on like a sub-level of the area you were in that primarily worked off 1s and 2s. Sometimes 3s, but lower dice anyway, so you always had kind of a way to use your lower dice productively, not just waste them, but I think I'm going to have to do that here. I might just grab a quick, cheap meal here to get my energy back up. I guess we go back to the rig, so... And bunks. Reduce stress. Well, I don't have stress, so that's not too bad. And what do we want to do? Getting more money in probably wouldn't be a bad thing. In the galley, use supply to make a meal. I don't need that right now. In the engine room, yeah, we're waiting on that. So I think I'm just gonna have to end this cycle. I don't really want to use that one anywhere. Oh, those are some good rolls. Okay. So why don't we go and use those to help Junie this time. So let's start with this. Neutral. We're not getting the roll of the die, so to speak, in terms of positive outcomes at the moment, are we? Another neutral. Come on, some positives would be nice here. Hey, well, we need one more. So this push thing, that must just be on contracts increasing your die, because it's not happening for me here. Nah, but this is the same odds as the last dice. Neutral. We filled the clock. So Hexbolt, the sound of fist on keyboard wakes you from the scrolling code on the terminal screen. You turn to see Junie, a rare half smile on her face as she floats cross-legged with her deck in her lap. The blue light of the snap-on screen makes her eyes glint with a glittering excitement. Got him! She shoots you a look. Carsten's whole system is mine. You push away from your terminal to glide over to her screen. Running the mapping protocol now, I want to know about every little dusty corner of his network. Is there much to map? She squints at the screen. Weirdly, there is. It's coming up now. Seems Carsten is pretty paranoid. This whole system is iced over with some serious security. She frowns. What are all these layers of... A red pulse flashes across her face, changing her features as it does. Shit! Her fingers dance across the keyboard. Something is closing the port. We need... Another red flash and her screen goes blank. Junie's fist hits the keyboard again, harder. We've been kicked out. She's rapidly shaking her head. There's no way a salvager's shop should have that kind of countermeasure. She looks troubled. Maybe you peeked in the wrong corner? Yeah. I just reduced the music volume a bit. I think the sounds, because I haven't played it for a while, I think the sound settings maybe got reset on the game, so hopefully that's at a reasonable volume now. That's it, we're locked out. She looks over at you. Seems so. I think our friend Carsten is involved in some nasty stuff. She rubs her forehead in thought. Wait. Her fingers fly across the keyboard, her screen flickering with commands. A complex node graph assembles on the screen, a mess of interlocking connections. The mapping protocol did enough. She points at the screen. All the security systems are there. She indicates a dark section of broken connections. We didn't get what's here, but it seems like we found some kind of archive. Nothing we want. I wonder what's there. Junie shrugs. Some big data trawls, it looks like. Copies of old drives he found. Could just be a load of data left over from salvage jobs that he thinks is worth something. She smiles. He's a meathead with no eye for data, so it's probably a load of debug logs he thinks are Solheim secrets. She giggles at the idea. Junie pulls a thumbnail drive out of one of her many pockets and slots it into her deck. Time to train my cat. Your cat? I could try to identify the program. I'll give that a go. Neutral outcome. Check passed. You watch the code spilling across the screen and notice the addresses from the node map being marked and logged. It appears to be some kind of exploratory program. A ripperworm, perhaps? But why would Junie want the data from Carsten's network? You glance at Junie and notice she's watching you carefully. I can see you following along, but trust me, you haven't seen one of these before. It's a Katzenjammer, CAT for short. Basically, it takes a network map, finds the weaknesses, and when you hook it up, blasts the network with so much network noise and raw data that it becomes unusable. She smiles to herself. Any tech connected gets a killer headache. I built it to take the remnants of Solheim's security systems out of commission on old derelicts. She squints. I had one too many close calls. What will it do to Carsten's shop? Pretty much fry anything on our map. Cameras, shutter controls, alarms. It'll be pure chaos. She plucks the thumbnail drive out of her deck and hands it over, the cat head sticker on it catching the light as you turn it in your fingers. We've still lost access, of course. Junie turns back to her screen, bringing up another node map. But there's an old Solheim port from the original facility just outside Carsten's. Slot the cat in there, and it should be able to find a back door. What are we waiting for? Nothing, but... She looks away. This isn't going to be quiet, she squints. His whole system is going to get data blasted. It's not a subtle hack. When you slot the cat, you get in, grab the feed lines, and run. Sounds like one hell of a risk. Seraphine's voice catches you both by surprise as he slips into the dark and empty unit. Well... Junie pauses, looking between the two of you. It's our best option. Seraphine narrows his eyes. And where will you be when we run the gauntlet of scramble security and meet the grab? Junie looks away. I can monitor how it goes down remotely, from here, or the ship? Seraphim gives you a look. You can tell he is finding it hard to trust Junie after everything. I trust you, Junie. She smiles a thin smile. Thanks. She starts to pack up her deck. But I'll find somewhere else to work from. Close to the ship, but out of your way. Junie shoulders her bag and glides to the door. When you're ready, slot the cat and go. By the time you're back at the ship, I'll be there. She glances down. Don't leave without me. She shoots Seraphim another look and then slips out of the unit. Seraphim watches her go and then turns to you. The whole of Hexport is going to hear about this. He shakes his head. We better be ready to go the moment you slot that thing. I'll be ready. Seraphim nods silently. I'll be at the ship propelling the engine. We need to be ready to fit the lines as fast as we possibly can. He meets your eye. Be careful. Don't stop for anyone or anything. Puts a hand on your shoulder. And don't even think about looking back. With that, he slips out of the unit, leaving you alone to consider what comes next. So I'm wondering if to do this, I'm going to need some active dice. It's possible. In which case, I'm going to need to rest again. The slight issue is we're running out of cycles. But I think once we've done this, we can go. So we're going to do that. Task, chance per cycle. Yeah. Maybe there's just a chance of that happening and we don't get it automatically. So we have 108. I want to see if our credits go up while we're resting. Yes, they do. Okay, cool. We've got a couple of high ones and a low one, so we'll avoid the low one for now. I might potentially lose energy on checks, so maybe we'll just quick bite to eat there. Now, why don't we go do this? Yeah, we're not going to buy the felines. Let's feed the cats and jammer. Junie's cat will overwhelm Carsten's security, but you don't know how long for. You'd better be ready to grab the feed lines and run the moment you slot it. Here we go. Security hacked. You slide the worm into the corroded Solheim port. A noise from Carsten's shop immediately catches your attention. Carsten's place is locked up for the cycle. Shutter down, alarms on. The denizens of Factory Row snaking past with deliveries and work orders. You hold your position opposite the shop and take a deep breath, waiting for a sign that this is going to work. You look at the thumbnail drive with its shimmering cat sticker sticking out of the old Solheim access port. You imagine the flow of data as the Katzenjammer seeks an entry point into Carsten's system. You think of Junie, tucked away near the ship, watching you through the public networks. You think of Seraphim, deep in the engine room of the rig. Hurry the hell up, you think. Enough waiting. Then you hear it. A pulsating white noise spluttering, and then the screaming out of Carsten's shop. The shutter scissors up and down, the lights pulse, the alarm gurgles in confusion. For a moment you're stunned into stillness. Ooh, okay. So no rolls, but we do have different things we can do. People stop in the street, then turn to look as the shutter's motors burn out in a cascade of sparks and acrid smoke. Now or never. Alright, well we're gonna take the one we have a better chance at. Neutral. Okay. I'll live with that. You skirt around the people watching, using them as a perimeter. They are pointing and talking, some of them laughing while others look concerned. You confidently push past them and glide inside without looking back. It takes you a moment to gather yourself in the chaos of the shop. The wall-mounted screens scream out white noise, and the flickering lights make it hard to concentrate, but you keep your focus. You scramble over to the feed lines in the window, grabbing the bundle with both arms. They wave wildly in your grasp as you wrench them away and kick off from the counter, gliding back out into the passage. Your arcing glide takes you into the crowd. You steer yourself through a gap in the gathering bodies and kick off hard towards the port. The feed lines wave wildly, but you grip them hard to your chest and don't look back. Seraphim better be ready. Here we go. Your arms ache from clutching the feed lines, but you don't loosen your grip until you see the entrance to the docking bridge. Who's it gonna... I don't know who that is, so I'll just say it without an accent. Sleeper! You almost ignore the call until you realise you recognise the voice. That was Junie. Sleeper! Junie glides out to meet you, her hand on your shoulder, guiding you towards the bridge. I'm with you now. She shoots you a glance. What a show, huh? She laughs nervously. It was certainly loud. She smiles a little. Wish I could have seen the cat in action. You both glide down the docking bridge, Junie helping you with the trailing feed lines. From what you can tell, news of the chaos in Factory Row has not reached the port yet. You feel a flush of excitement as you enter the ship's airlock. This is it. You did it. You try to keep focused, but the elation makes your hands tremble. You take a sharp turn in the central passage of the ship and make your way to the engine room, the feed lines now unwieldy in the cramped space. Seraphin is waiting for you, shaking his head. Looks like we're in business. He lets out a sigh. And on the run from 2 different people now. He grabs the feed lines. I'll take this from here. He quickly begins the process of connecting the engine to the subsidiary fuel tank. You watch, catching your breath as he works. How about making yourself useful rather than just making me nervous? Seraphin says without looking up from his work. Go, close the airlock and disconnect the bridge. You and Junie glance at each other. Both of yous, now! Seraphin calls out. The 2 of you turn and make your way up the passage, your nerves settling now. You arrive at the airlock and reach for the control panel. Then you see him. Karsten, coming up the docking bridge fast. I think we should try and close the airlock. Positive outcome. We lost some stress. I don't think we had any, but... Your hands dance across the controls, inputting the closure sequence in seconds. The door hisses and closes before Karsten even makes it to the end of the bridge. You catch one glimpse of his retreating figure before the docking bridge's shutters scissor closed, blocking him from view. You hear a clunk as the clamps disengage. You're free. Seraphin rushes past, gliding up the passageway from the engine room. Come on, get yourselves strapped in. You and Junie silently follow him, your head spinning, your thoughts racing. You slip into your seat as Seraphin punches in the departure sequence. The rig begins to pull away from Hexport. Seraphin's hands on the controls. You close your eyes and feel the force of the thrusters firing. Here we go. Major drive completed. 2 upgrade points. Okay, well, we'll deal with that in a sec. What the? Seraphin's quiet question interrupts your thoughts as the rig cuts across the belt. Hexport is now behind you, drifting out of visual range, its glinting lights now just part of the background glow of the belt's thousands of reflective bodies. Whatever trouble you stirred up there, it has surely been left behind. Which is why Seraph's muttering is worrying you. More trouble? Seraphin turns. There's a transmission coming out of Hexport, some kind of evac order. He turns back to his console. Here, let me check this. Sleeper? The voice. Oh, this might not be Junie, I thought it was. The voice, as distorted as it is, cuts through you. Oh, it's Lane. Sleeper. I know you're there. A hissing pause. Is that coming from Hexport? Seraphin glances at you, confused. Is what coming from Hexport? Here, give me a second here, Sleeper. I'm getting a wide-channel broadcast. He rubs his shoulders nervously. They're warning people to alter their course away from the station. You are slipping away. A squawk of noise. But we can't have that. I take this personally, Sleeper. A sharp intake of breath. After all my investment, all my care expended upon you, this is how you repay me. At least we're heading away. Seraphin interrupts. Maybe it's just a precaution. I see a little something glinting out there. Lane continues. Could that be you? Sleeper? You hear Seraphin calling, but you don't move. You don't breathe. All you hear is Lane's voice. You unclip from your restraint, drifting towards Seraphin. He gives you a wild look. Something isn't right. You don't feel right. A numbness grows in your body, your fingers flexing without your input. You reach out towards Seraphin. No, not you. Something reaches out to Seraphin through you. Tension flickers in his eyes. Fear? A hissing silence. Then a rumbling blast. All at once the rig screams, system seizing in electromagnetic paralysis. All at once the rig shifts, carried on some shockwave of light. Pain, then darkness. Drive fail. Oh, and something. I think we've got glitchy stuff here. There's a glitch meter. I expect we'll find out a bit more about what that means. Voices echo warmly through your mind. You can't quite make out what is being said, and any attempt to focus causes a growing flare of pain, so you let them fill the air, unidentifiable and soft. You're floating, and so you cannot yet feel your body or its weight. The feeling is pleasant, soothing. And yet the moment you realize this, it begins to fade. Something spasms in your fingers and you flick it away. A sensation crosses the sole of your foot and you kick your leg. A weight settles itself in your chest. You are awake. You open your eyes to light playing across a surface patterned with stained cushioning. You're alone. The voice is replaced by the hum of air cycling, a distant clank of maintenance systems. You're alone, and this is not your ship. You jerk upwards against the straps that hold you loosely in the berth, suddenly confronted with the last things you remember. An overwhelming numbness, and below it, an insipid animating force creeping through your mind. You pull at the straps and free yourself, floating up into the small habitation room, cushioned and warm, your mind racing. What happened? You search back and remember only Seraphine's shouts, the sudden acceleration of the rig, and then darkness. A chill runs through you. Cold light fills the room, and you float over to the dark square of the window. You see stars, the bright pinpricks of drive trails and skeletal docking bridges. This is a station. A sudden hiss draws your attention to the door, which slides open with a puff of equalizing pressure. This is Bliss, troubled repair technician. The entering figure jumps as they see you're awake. Oh, you're up. They hesitate in the doorway. Who are you? They laugh nervously. Right, we didn't meet. They glance back out of the doorway as if looking for help. I'm Bliss. They shrug, not sure of what to add. Your crew are out, sorry. They brought you here. Here? Right. They nod slowly. This is my room. They glance around. Yeah, not much, I know. We're in my repair bay on the far spindle, if you know where that is. In the belt? Yeah. They smile sympathetically. In the belt? They look around at the room again. Come on, let's go somewhere a little more comfortable. They hold out a hand. You're safe, don't worry. You follow them out into the corridor, gliding behind them. They move with the ease of someone who was either born in Zero-G or has spent most of their life in it. They guide you to an enclosed balcony, where heavily scratched thick acrylic windows look out onto a chaotic-looking wet dock. At the centre of the dock is the rig, scratched and worn, but still your ship. It's a reassuring sight. So what happened? Your ship. Bliss pauses. You were lucky I heard your distress signal. You sense they're holding something back. I guess that expensive long-range array I was tricked into buying finally paid off. They laugh to themselves. Well, at least for someone. You were out cold when I got there, and have been for all the cycles since. Your friend wasn't in great shape either, but he bounced back fast. It's Seraphine. He looks a bit different now. I make a habit of doing that. Seraphine's voice makes you spin around. Good to see you up. He can't suppress his smile. Are you okay? He smiles. Yeah, didn't start fussing over me, sleeper. I'm good. Your eyes fall to Seraphine's bandaged abdomen. He notices and pulls his jacket over the wound. Certainly looks better than when you came in. You should have seen. Bliss abruptly stops after Seraphine glares in their direction. Here. Seraphine pulls a few chits out of his pocket. Catch. He slings them over to Bliss. That's all I could get for now. What are you paying them for? Seraphine laughs. Who do you think put the rig back together? Bliss looks at you apologetically. I know what it looks like, but I'm sorry, I can't work for free. Keeping this place going is bad enough. I get it. Seraphine nods. We're just thankful you towed us in. We ain't freeloaders. Bliss looks between the two of you. I'll let you two catch up. They turn to you. I'm glad you're awake. We were worried. They pat you on the shoulder and glide back down the corridor. With Bliss gone, silence descends on you and Seraphine. Both of you unsure what to say. Where's Junie? She's probably about on the ship working on that deck of hers. Seraphine looks out at the ship. She's been there. Useful. Not sure we would have got that distress signal out without her. What do you remember? He looks at you with concern. Lane. Seraphine grimaces at the mention of his name. Lane? He shakes his head. Seraphine looks out at the rig. He takes a breath, steeling himself for what he has to say. Export is He clears his throat. It's gone. He flinches. What do you mean gone? It's gone. Seraphine catches your eye. Dropped off the map. No signals apart from one sent from fleeing ships. He frowns. I didn't know what happened. No one does. Your mind skips, unable to focus on the information you've just been told. You think of the constant activity of the bends, the rumble of Factory Row. cast and gone. By the time Bliss reached us, we'd drifted out of range. They couldn't have seen it go up, but I saw, Sleeper. Something exploded, white hot. He rubs his arm, suppressing a shiver. A moment later, the shockwave was on us. The rig was crippled. Engine kept firing, but guidance went offline, sending us arcing out across the belt. He drops a hand inside his jacket, pressing against the bandage on his side. I managed to get it under control, but not before we started spinning. My restraints came loose, and you weren't even strapped in, so we both got scrambled. He smiles a weak smile. Felt like being trapped in an auto wash. He turns back to you. I'm impressed you made it, to be honest. A flesh and blood human would have been smashed to pieces. He goes silent, the image a little too raw for him to continue. Could it be to do with us? Seraphim shrugs. Your guess is as good as mine. He squints. Would Lane do something like that? It doesn't make any sense. But Subo is a gang. They run Darkside. They don't go around blowing up stations. All anyone is seeing is debris and radiation. I picked up a lot of ship transponders before the rig went offline. Maybe some people got out. He stops, unable to add anything more. You both float in silence for a moment. Well, what now? Seraphim laughs weakly. One step at a time. You in a rush? We already owe Bliss for the work they did on the rig, and it ain't finished yet. A few more cycles, I've been told. Bliss will now hold us hostage, but I didn't like to skip out without paying, even if we could get the rig started up. He rubs his necklace between his fingers. Bad karma. Beyond that, we need work, fuel, supplies, and we need to make sure you're okay. He counts off the issues on his fingers. After that, he shrugs. I've not heard of anyone coming after us, and if they did, they'd have to come through Hexport or, what's left of it. He looks away. The far spindle is out of Lane's territory anyway. They call this bit of the belt the Wash, and the stations here are definitely to Darkside, so for now we got some freedom. Seraphim sighs. Freedom to go broke, starve, and get into even more trouble, that is. In all honesty, I was hoping you might have some ideas. He pats you on the shoulder. Oh, we could look for a contract. You will not hear any complaints from me. He smiles. We will not be able to fly out for a few cycles yet, but it will not hurt us to have something lined up. He pauses and looks away. He stares down. Look, Sleeper. He rubs his side. I'm not sure I can work right now. I just got kicked out of a salvage yard for passing out on the job. He looks away. Even with the pain meds I've been able to scare up. I can fly, that's for sure. He stares obstinately at the rig. But you're going to need some crew if you want to do any serious work. He chews his lip. I'm sorry. You need to be careful. Seraphim nods. I'm trying. He turns away. Well, I'm gonna take a rest on the rig. I'm wiped. You look out at the rig as he leaves, the warmth and softness of your waking moments now feeling like a distant memory. Is this what you wanted? Freedom? A chance to work for yourself, not Lane? Well, here it is, with all the problems and complications you could imagine. And at what cost? Could Lane have wiped out Hexport just to try to end you? You shiver at the thought. But if not Lane, then who? Theories cloud your mind. Let's dwell on them. Could it have been Conway? A drone or mine drifting starward? Senate stat, perhaps, with some plan to weaken the belt? Or a belt faction attempting to flip the board by intent or mistake? The belt had considered itself safe from the war brewing in the inner system, but now? Hexport's loss will be felt all across the starward belt. But what does that mean to you? Your needs are much more immediate, apparent. Those must come first. You take a breath. Time to make a plan. Tutorial, you have gained some glitch. A glitch dice looks like this. So we can see we've got 2 of them. Your current level of glitch is represented by the glitch clock. So we've got 1 of 6 segments. You can have a maximum of 6. Each level of glitch you gain will increase your chance of rolling a glitch dice. Each time you roll a glitch dice, you clear 1 level of glitch. Okay. Glitch dice has 80% chance of a negative outcome when used and a 20% positive outcome. Oh, that's not good. Okay, not bad. Alright, Junie. You find Junie in the airlock, her small collection of things crammed into her bag. I was coming to see you, I promise. She looks nervous. I was waiting for you to wake up, but Seraphim said you were okay, so... Sure you aren't sneaking off? She looks away. I don't like big goodbyes, that's all. While you were out... She pauses, the concern for you obvious. I was digging into the data I pulled from that core, the Solheim one. There's a lot of stuff in there. But it's impossible to read. Either I'm decrypting it wrong or I don't have the right cipher. Whatever it is, I think it means the data is important. She takes a breath, or at least it was to Solheim. I need to find someone to help me pick away at it, to crack it open. She looks down. That's why I'm going. Well, we can take you there. No, look. She takes a sharp breath. After what happened with the rig, Bliss saving us, we're all lucky to be alive. She shifts her bag on her shoulder. I think I'm better off alone. For now. Oh. Oh, that's her. Oh. She suddenly reaches into a bag, producing a handful of chits. Some of the data I sold just so I could buy myself a ticket to where I need to go. It's not much, but here's your share. She passes you the chits. We got 100. That's probably enough to get some stuff done. You keep them. Okay. She smiles weakly. Thanks. Good luck, Sleeper, and tell Seraphine goodbye for me. What are you chasing? She freezes, caught off guard by your question. She pauses. I know there's value, true value in that data, Sleeper. I know it, and She pauses again, unsure of herself. I have a project to continue. One I won't abandon. Maybe I can tell you about it another time. She smiles weakly, closing up again. Well, she rubs the back of her neck. See you around. You watch her drift away down the docking tunnel and into the fast spindle, with questions still bouncing around your head. Maybe, if your paths cross again, you might be able to get some of them answered. Here we go, new location. So we've got a rig clock. Probably check out what that is. A brief respite. Hexport's demise has put a barrier between Darkside and the fast spindle. The lane can't follow, so for now you're safe. Okay, but that will be ticking down each cycle. And we've got, 6 of those. We've got Bliss's Bay. So we got... Wow, it's big. Let's have a look. That's the docks, Pinnacle Docks. Spindle Core. Like a commons area. That's Bliss's Bay, and then right at the bottom we got the Underhang, growing Shantytown. Okay. Let's have a look at our upgrades first. So I've got 2 points. I guess my question is, I might keep saving it. It might be nice to upgrade something like maybe the interface or the intuit. I mean, the engineer stuff's quite nice already, but if we can get like another sort of action that's positive, I think I might do that. So let's come out of there for now. Do I have any drives going on? Explore fast spindle. Okay, well we can do that. Find crew. We can do that too. That's a minor one. They're both minor. I think if we do both those, we'll get a couple of points. So this glitch die, that's basically... It's bad. It's very bad, so we'll try not to use that, I guess. Let's pop quickly into Bliss's Bay. Repairing the rig. It's mostly patched up. But Bliss wants a few more cycles. Okay, so that's just a timer. Alright, so that's going to happen anyway without us. Let's go into the core. Okay, so explore the core. That's an intuit check. But from wide transit tunnels to labyrinthine corridors, all the passages of the spindle seem to pass through the core. We'll chat to crews. We're not very good at that social stuff, so we won't be doing that. Let's come out there now. I want to see if there's any engineering checks that we can do at the docks. The Pinnacle docks are vast and filled with freight haulers and stevedores. This is not an easy place to wander. Similar types of check, really. So again, it's like an exploration thing. Alright, okay. Whoa, okay. Why am I going so far? Well, let's do the core first, and I'll put my 5 in there. +1. You find the quieter corridors to glide through, shortcuts that connect key bays and common spaces. So just come back in here. So if I was to put that in there, 80% chance of negative. It's too risky, isn't it? It's crazy. But if I think I'm going to rest. I think I'm going to rest again, and we'll hopefully lose one of the glitch dice. Energy's okay. The odd jobs thing's probably fine. Let's just end cycle for now. So we got one glitch. But our glitch clock is now reset. Okay. to get moving sooner rather than later. But let's go back into spindle core. Let's put our 6 in there. 100% positive. Here we go. +2 on spindle cruise. New location discovered. Okay, well let's come out and take a little look at that. We've got Gaia's Gaia. I'm not sure what a Gaia is. Well, Gaia, I know. Mother, spirit type, goddess type thing. But the Gaia Gyre, I'm not sure what that is. We could buy food. Getting racked. The freelancers of the fast spindle seem cagey, but spend enough time at the local bar and they'll warm to you. We could order a drink. Rather than dulling your senses, the rack heightens them. Your frame buzzes as it struggles to metabolize the drink. We don't need the energy. I imagine we might, maybe make a local contact if we filled up that clock, but I don't want to do that right now, because it'd be pointless with a full energy bar. I guess I'll try the 3 in here, hope for a neutral or positive outcome. Neutral, okay. We've got a new location though, that's good. We have the trade hall. That's probably fuel and supply stuff. Yeah, that's fine. We don't need those right now. So I've got a 1 or a glitch. It seems like that would be a bad idea to do to do that. Might rest again. I don't really want to be taking negative results. Come on. Let's go good die. At some point I'm hoping to repair the broken one as well. I think there is a way to do it. We haven't been introduced to it yet. Oh god, that's not much good either. The rig. You awake to the sound of blaring proximity alarms. You quickly unstrap from your bunk and dizzily glance around. Lane? Bounty hunters? You kick off and glide to the door. As you do, Bliss pops their head around the corner. Sorry. They look a little sheepish. In all honesty, it's not my fault. Your wiring's all backward. It takes you a moment to understand what's happening. You steady yourself against the doorframe. Seriously, Bliss? Bliss looks down. I said I'm sorry, I'm handling it, they mumble. Takes you a while to get ready and drift down to the mess to see what's happening. By then, Bliss has turned off the alarms. You find them unspooling wires from a hatch you'd never previously noticed in the mess's ceiling. Sorry again, sleeper. Their voice comes through the ceiling panels, muffled and dull. You settle at a stool, neatly tucking your legs behind the crossbar. How are you doing? Me? Bliss's muffled voice echoes around the room. Oh, I'm working. A pause. Helps keep my mind off things. What things? Bliss spins deftly, hooking their legs into the open ceiling so that, from your perspective, they're hanging upside down. They give you a look. Do you really want to know? A yawning Seraphim drifts in. He looks between the two of you, amused. What are you both doing up so early? You and Bliss exchange amused looks. What? Seraphim asks. You didn't hear the alarm? He shrugs. Heavy sleeper. He drifts over to the mess's cupboards to hunt for some breakfast. You turn back to Bliss, but they've disappeared back into the ceiling panels. Before long, the mess is filled with the shrill screech of a power tool. Seraphim looks totally unaffected and hooks himself onto a stool, lazily sucking at a ration pouch while he taps away at his slate. The screech finally stops. After a while, you kick off from your stool. Time to head out. Bliss rushes after you, stopping you in the passageway before you can leave. I've got something I want to show you. Is this about repairing dice? I hope it is. Bliss leads you off the main corridor into a corner of the ship you don't remember visiting before. You come into a room with low-sloped ceilings, a single round window illuminating some neat tool storage and a workbench set into the wall. Look. Bliss begins. I'm no specialist, but I'm a quick learner. I'm good at repairs. They smile. And I think you've need of me. They glance at you, at a tear in the thick vinyl skin of your arm. Can I take a look? Okay. They smile and lead you towards the workbench. They turn your arm, looking at the tear from all angles. They reach over to the workbench and take a small sealant gun from the rack. You look at the setup. It's basic, but it looks clean and well organized. They gently close the tear with sealant, pressing the edges together so it closes up neatly. After they're done, they release your arm and you can barely see the scar. Bliss admires their work. See? They smile. I know it's more serious than a tear. Bliss folds their arms, but I can handle it. You need repairs? Bring me some components to work with, best quality you can find. The better the components, the easier they'll integrate with your system. Bliss leans on the workbench. I'll do my best to keep you running. Why help me? Oh, you're a guest in my bay and I can't have my guests' bodies collapsing now, can I? Plus, I think it benefits me if you think of me as indispensable. Bliss smiles. I should get back to fixing the ship. They leave you in the workshop among the simple tools, considering the particular qualities of your new friend. Tutorial. Dice repair. Here we go. Dice repair now available. Visit the rig workshop above. Yeah. You can repair dice at the brig workshop. You can only repair dice which are fully broken, of which we have one. Repairs either require scrap or rare components. The better components you use, the less glitches you'll suffer. Urgh. Can't repair a dice during a contract. Okay, I don't have either of those things, so... we'll leave for now. Alright, but we can get on with making some contacts up in the core. Got 2 left, so if I put that in, there's a good chance that will be enough. Nope. We'll put in the 3 as well. I'm determined to get this finished today. I'm not putting in the 1s. Yay! What did that do? The far spindle lives up to its name, its tall stature making it a real effort to travel from end to end. The local solution to this problem are the transit tunnels, massive tubes bolted onto the outside of the spindle that allow for rapid passage from top to bottom. As you find yourself in one of these cavernous passages, bulky cargo haulers rushing by, you start to wonder if braving them is worth the effort. Back up! The shout rattles down the bare transit corridor like a gunshot and is rapidly followed by a crunching impact. You spin back, pushing yourself against the side of the wide cylindrical passage. As you do, a hauler glides past, sending a rippling wave of air across you in its wake. This is... Cadet, I guess? I can't see the E, but I'm assuming that's their name. Spiky Airbike Courier. Okay. When the roar subsides, you hear a string of expletives coming from nearby. A spiky-looking figure, clutching some oddly shaped open frame object, gestures wildly at the vehicle as it glides by. Okay, so Cadet is... because we've lost the earlier one I did a Northern Irish accent with, why do we do that here? Hey, you dickhead! She spits an impressive glob of saliva down the tunnel and it spirals in 0G. She turns to you in her anger. You see that? Tried to slam me into the wall. Total dickhead. She nods firmly. No shit. Haulers hate us. She sniffs and looks to you up and down. Not supposed to be in the transit system without a vehicle. She squints. Not like I care, but maybe you do. Right, sorry. Like I said, don't care. She rolls one of her shoulders, stretching it out. You're new here, right? Is it that obvious? She shrugs sympathetically. Nothing to be ashamed of. Let me give you a tip. She begins checking her open frame vehicle, tightening bolts and untangling pipes. Avoid the haulers. Dickheads, the lot of them. Especially the water haulers. They think they're better than anyone. Don't mess with the stevedos, though. They're good people. Get treated like shit by everyone else, just like us. She rapidly plugs and unplugs a series of connectors. They'll show you the shortcuts. She looks up. And never ever get in the Spindlejack's way. She smiles, spinning the vehicle in her hand. Spindlejack? She thumps her chest. You're looking at one. She pauses, considering something. Then suddenly she reaches into one of her many pockets and pulls out a small transparent rectangle with punched with holes. Text glints within it, reading, Cadet, Stripline Express. You take it. Cadet. She flexes proudly. That's me. Stripline is my outfit. Kamal's the dispatcher. Small outfit, but we punch well above our weight. Dispatch is here in the Spindle's core, but I run the transit tunnels up and down the Spindle 10 times a cycle. You needing it in moving on the Spindle? Data, tech, messages too hot on the hard line. Come find me. I'll do that. She nods. Tell them I sent you. They'll make sure it gets to me. She kicks off the wall and mounts her bike, triggering a small burst of compressed air to keep herself steady in the transit tunnel passage. You hear a buzz of distorted speech from what you assume is her dispatcher. Cadet angles her head to her communicator and mutters back into it. Got a hop? Sleeper? She looks over at you and something flickers in her eyes. An idea? Or perhaps just a realization. You might be able to help me with something. Package that's been bothering me. She squints down the passage. Come to the office at Stripline in a few cycles and I'll show you. Sure. We'll call it a favour on account of me saving you from being flattened by a hauler. She winks. Now you'd better get out of here before another hauler tries to squish you. You step back as she twists the handlebars and a burst of air sends her flying down the transit corridor at an unsettling speed. You watch her go, slightly caught off guard by her final remarks. What would a courier need you for? You turn the idea over in your head as you find a way out of the transit corridor, back to the safety of the main concourse. New locations. That's Stripline Express. Okay. I've only got 2 ones, so... so what's my new drive then? Help Cadet. That's a minor one. Make repairs. Yeah. So we could explore the docks, but there's also the lower area. What's in here in the underhang? There is engineer checks. If I put that in there, suddenly that's still terrible. So when can I do the push? Maybe that is just on contracts then, because like, I don't know. Help the residents. Underhang residents couldn't afford to rent further up, so they came here to build their own units. They're always in need of repair work. I think if we rest again, maybe we'll come here, because I think, provided it's at least a 2 on our dice, we should do fairly well at that. The life beneath. Many residents in the far spindle live in the ramshackle underhang. It's not an easy place to learn to navigate. Yeah, there's nothing useful for me to use my ones on yet. We could come here. They did say wait a few days, didn't she? So, yeah, it's going to be at least a couple of days there. There's this. Yeah. Don't really want to use my ones there. Don't think I have a lot of choice but to go rest again. More cryo... What's this? Fuel. We've got bigger fuel tank now, it looks like. Up to 10. I mean, cryo is always useful. Let's just keep that going for now. Hopefully at some point we get a way to use these ones that we're rolling. Hopefully we don't stop rolling ones. Well, that's not happened there, is it? The rig! You jerk suddenly awake. A fragment is lodged in your mind, a shard of sound, of signal, a tone. It resonates like tinnitus, obviously internal, inescapable. You look down to see your hands blurred, your fingers dancing as if they were typing. Settle them. Your fingers flap like caught birds. Take control. It takes all your focus to settle them. You force yourself back into them, a sensation like squeezing on a tight pair of gloves. You flex your hands a little to feel them, test them. What was that? You take a deep breath to calm yourself, but as you do, you're reminded that you don't need to breathe. It is a claustrophobic sensation that you cannot shake. You get up, push off the wall, pull on your clothes, anything to escape the dreams that hover there at the back of your mind. Seraphim drifts in casually, headed to his bunk to grab something. You can't shake the strange sensation that he has just drifted into your mind. He shoots you a glance. That's him talking, isn't it? Hey, Sarah, you okay? Gives you a concerned look. You look terrible. Yeah, not really. You mumble a response. You need to talk to me, sleeper. Seraphim gives you a look. He sighs. I ken something happened back when we were leaving Hexport. What do you mean? I saw it, sleeper. I need to work out how a Scottish person says sleeper. I'm not doing it right. I saw it, sleeper. Something changed in your eyes. He pauses, looking for the right way to explain. They were cold, fixed. I've never seen that before. He looks away. Back when we first met, I knew at once you were human. I'm gonna have to do knew as Ken as well. I ken because of your eyes. I'd never met a sleeper before, but I ken immediately that you were no machine. It was obvious. But then on the rig, he shivers. I couldn't see that anymore. I don't know what happened. What did it feel like? Gives you a curious look. Try to identify it. Plus stress, okay. You close your eyes and recall the moment. Immediately you feel your fingers begin to tremble and jerk. You tense against the feeling of an invisible hand closing its grip on your mind. Sleeper! Seraphim's voice interrupts your thoughts. You open your eyes to his concerned face. Are you okay? We need to get you checked up. We need to know what's happening. Seraphim gives you a stubborn stare. This isn't just about you. But where? I've been asking around. Seraphim's face is set with determination now. There's another station near this one, Flotsam. It's a mess, an accumulation of wrecks and dock ships, but it also houses some of the best artificers in the wash. We should go there as soon as the rig is ready. I'll think about it. If you can't do it for yourself, do it for me. Seraphim shakes his head. Please? Look, he pauses. I kinda don't ken what it's like to be a sleeper. I understand there's things you canna tell me, canna show me, but I do ken how fear can keep you from doing what you need to do. But I'm not gonna nag you about it. He sighs. But it needs to be done. He passes by you as he leaves the bunks, squeezing your shoulder as he does, leaving you to your thoughts. You finish getting dressed, feeling your body, its strangeness, even though you wish you didn't. At the very least, you think, you need to find someone who can stop you falling apart. Maybe Flotsam isn't such a bad idea. You push the thought to the back of your mind. There's a cycle ahead and the rig isn't ready. When it is, then you'll see. So we got a new drive. Make repairs, diagnose your frame. Yeah, so we're getting some stuff there. Like I said, we're going to keep saving our points for now until I can upgrade like one of our abilities. But let's do this. Just trying to work. Is there any? I don't think there's any downside to... I keep pressing right click, it brings me out of there. Is there any downside to putting my 6 in there? I mean, it's 100% positive either way, I think, isn't it? So let's just keep helping people. +2, the life beneath. Plus energy, nice. New location discovered. Oh, well, yeah, let's have a look at that now. Nemba's Kitchen, Refugee Canteen. Earn a meal. Nemba's Kitchen serves those that can't work in the underhang, but able-bodied visitors like you can work a kitchen shift to get to eat. Okay, we can impress her. I think I'm going to keep exploring for now. I'm going to put the 2 in, because it's only 25% chance of negative. Okay, we've got another new location. We've got Spindle's Edge, improvised residential block. Ceiling shift. Most of the fast spindles work is down. Yes, that's work. Which is fine. It's not work I'm particularly skilled at doing. I'm going to do this. I'm going to take the chance. I'd like to finish this clock if we can, but it won't happen on a 2. Negative. All right. Well, we did fill part of the clock. We lost some energy. That's not the end of the world. Now at Nemba's, can I just buy food? Can't. Okay. God, I'd love to repair this dice sometime soon. So does... I might... Yeah, tell you what, let's put some in there. Put another one, because I'd like to fill... Maybe I'll only be one off doing it. So it would only be 4 wasted credits. Let's do that. Let's just fill our clock. The Fast Spindle is an exhausting place to find freelancers. There's no shortage of spaces here. The corridors and bays throng with crew inbound and outbound, on or between contracts, trading stories, contacts and materials. But whatever language, appearance or code identifies someone as worth signing on with, you don't seem to have it. Perhaps it is because you're a new face or are noticeably unsure, or perhaps it is just because you're a sleeper. You push the thought to the back of your mind and instead focus on what's in front of you, the vast cylindrical tank at the centre of Gaia's Gaia. The first time you entered the bar, you floated open-mouthed, much like all the new arrivals do, at the sight of the huge kelp stack, the biggest you've ever seen. Even now, your eyes are fixed on the fronds of seaweed that wave in the circulating water. Beyond the curve of dirty glass, you find it impressive. You take a sip of the harsh, saline-scented rack from its magnetic vessel, secured to the bar. As you suck on the straw, your eyes following the shifting fronds, you hear someone clearing their throat beside you at the bar. Okay, this is Yu Jin, ambitious freelancer. Hypnotic, isn't it? The voice is low and rumbling and comes from the large figure on the stool next to you. The fluorescent lights behind the bar glint in his eyes, shining up into his wide, rough face. I've heard talk you're hiring. The figure turns to face you. You don't recognize him, but in the shifting light of Gaia's Gaia, that isn't surprising. That's right. He smiles. Well, today's your lucky day, my friend. He clicks his drink to the magnetic bar with a swift clink. Yu Jin, currently freelance. He turns on his stool and leans back a little. The effect is clearly meant to impress you on his size, and you have to admit it works. Served on a whole slate of crews out of the Spindle. Cutters, mercs, extractors. He smiles and places a broad hand on his chest. Broad skill set, good work ethic, sense of humor. Full package. Humble too. He clucks with his tongue, smiling. I like you already. We're gonna get on. I'll run anything out of the far Spindle. I'm tough and quiet and you won't need to worry about me. He folds his arms across his chest. What kind of work are we talking about? Before you can answer, a voice echoes out from behind you. Yu Jin! You look over your shoulder for the source of the shout. Busy as ever, I see. This... Oh, okay. I have to voice them fairly neutrally before I know who they are. This is Vesna, cold and hardened captains. I'll have to come up with a slightly different voice. A group of 3 spacers drift up behind you, one of them placing a heavy hand on your shoulder. She is fitted with metal optical implants, and you cannot see her eyes. The caustic light from the tank plays across her face. Too busy to keep in touch, she sighs. I really don't like it when I have to come and find you.
Vesna.
Yujin nods politely at her, not betraying any strong reaction.
Do I look like I'm socializing?
He shakes his head.
This is a meeting.
Oh, a meeting? Vesna squeezes your shoulder. Is that what this is?
Yes, Vesna. We were talking about your delivery, in fact.
Yujin smiles widely.
My friend here is being very helpful.
He shoots you a knowing glance. That's right. Vesna turns to you with a raised eyebrow, but before she can speak, Yujin cuts in.
The Sleeper has a unique ability to extract data.
Yujin smiles at Vesna.
Exactly the kind of data you've been asking for. So if we can just get back to it...
Yujin gestures towards you.
Then I can deliver what you need.
You know, Yujin, I'm pretty tired of this whole act. She gestures dismissively at him. But in the end, it doesn't matter. She drops her hand from your shoulder to her belt. Your eyes follow it down and you see a dark, boxy shape there. A weapon? You either deliver by the deadline or you don't. And when you don't, she smiles tightly, I'll be happy to take you through the consequences. Until then, she shoots you a final glance. Chat to whoever the hell you want. Vesna and the 2 spacers flanking her glide out of the bar, and Yujin watches them go with little emotion.
So,
Yujin's smile returns.
You're about to hire me?
What was that?
Vesna? He shrugs. She's just trying to rush me, that's all. I won't be working with her again.
He pauses, choosing his words carefully.
Of course, I can't talk about the particulars, you understand. Vesna just wants to scare you off. She likes to cause me trouble.
Yujin looks away out of the door of the bar.
Let's not let her.
He pauses in silence for a moment, still looking away. You try to get a read on him, but his face is blank. Only his glittering eyes hint at some rapid internal activity. He turns back to you and meets your eye, a sudden shift in his manner obvious.
If you need crew, you need to work. If you need to work, you need cryo, is that right?
He doesn't stop for your answer.
Well, I can offer both. Hard work and a good contract with a good payout. You take me with you on this job of mine and we split the take.
He looks down, thinking.
Hell, if you do, I'll consider signing on long term. Huh.
He smiles.
Think of that. No more recruiting.
Oh, what's the job?
Salvage.
He leans in.
I know of a wreck untouched by the local crews, which recently turned up in the wash. It's just a little sunward from here, but its disabled transponder makes it invisible to anyone who doesn't know it's there. Had to squeeze the location out of a contact, but I'll share it with you for a straight split. Take me and your crew and we'll claim it all. It's going to be a good payout.
He winks.
A really good one.
What's the catch? Yujin frowns.
No catch.
He leans back and looks around the bar.
Happy to take the offer elsewhere. I just felt like you were the right captain for this one. I'll be ready to go whenever you like.
Yujin pauses.
As a show of good faith, I'll also fly out with you on any job from the far spindle. But I'm not leaving the station with you yet. Not till we get my job done first. After that, we can talk flying together. No need to rush into it.
He shakes your hand firmly, his palm rough and pitted, and then turns back to his drink. You slip out of the bar, looking to see if Vesna is nearby. You don't spot her among the passing crews, but you can't help but imagine eyes on you in the bar. You shake it off, having become familiar with the feeling of being observed. What matters is you found yourself a crew member and a good contract. Whether either will come good, however, remains to be seen. New local crew available, new contract on map, new drive available. Oh, we got an upgrade point, that's cool. Is that because I made a friend? Good. Well, I'm run out of dice. I would have to rest, but I think when I do, it's going to trigger another event of some kind. So I think we'll leave it there for now. When we come back next time, we'll continue to spend a bit of time on the far spindle. I'd like to finish exploring. Did I finish exploring the underhang? I don't think I did. We got one more thing to put in there. There's also the docks at the top to even start exploring, so I'd like to do that too. Then there's the contract. There's so much to do, and I'm having a great time, and I hope you're enjoying watching it as well. If you are, if you could hit that thumbs up button, that's always appreciated. Be sure to leave me a comment or two as well. Let me know what you think about the game so far. Let me know if you played or watched my series on the first game and how you think this compares to that. Personally, I think it's great so far. I'm really enjoying it. And if you're watching this and not yet subscribed to the channel, if you could do that as well, that'd be great. So thanks very much, and I hope to see you next time.